She stepped out of the car quickly, her eyes scanning the empty street. Her phone was still vibrating. Adrian. Again. She looked at the screen, then locked it. At that moment, it didn't feel urgent. "I'll explain later," she whispered. That was her mistake. The gate slid open slowly. Midnight. The house was dark. Too dark. No lights. No guards moving. No sound. Her heartbeat picked up. But wait. Something wasn't right. Adrian never left the house like this. Never. She pushed the door open gently. Silence. Heavy. Cold. She took one step inside. Sofia. Her body froze. That voice. Low. Behind her. She turned slowly. Adrian stood there, half in shadow, watching her. Not angry. Not shouting. Just watching. And that scared her more. "What time is it?" he asked. Her throat tightened. I didn't. Don't. One word. And she stopped. But here's the shocking part. Adrian's eyes moved past her. Inside. To the car. Still running. Still there. Her breath caught. 'Cause she knew. He had seen it. The passenger door. Slightly open. And someone inside. Not moving. What happened next would destroy everything. Sofia Cruz knew how to stay calm. That was her strength. No matter the situation, she could smile, nod, and move on. That's why people liked her. That's why Adrian trusted her. But calm people have a weakness. They delay things, ignore things, push things aside. Sofia was like that. If something felt uncomfortable, she avoided it. "I'll deal with it later," she would say. And most times, nothing happened. So she believed she was right. But life doesn't always warn you twice. Adrian Cruz was different. He didn't ignore anything. He observed every detail, every silence, every small change. He was a quiet man. Not loud, not expressive, but dangerous. Because when he noticed something, he didn't react immediately. He waited. And that made him unpredictable. Their life looked perfect. Big house, clean walls, quiet luxury. But inside, distance had started growing. Slowly, Sofia had changed. Coming home later than usual. Holding her phone tighter. Smiling at messages she never explained. But she didn't know. Adrian noticed everything. He didn't ask. Didn't confront. He just watched. Because in his world, truth always reveals itself. Sofia thought she was careful. She thought she had control. He thought she had time. That was the problem. She believed there was always time. But there wasn't. Not anymore. Because that night, everything she avoided, everything she ignored, everything she delayed, was waiting for her, right inside that house. And this time, there would be no later. No second chance. No explanation that could fix it. 'Cause some mistakes don't grow slowly. They explode. And as Sofia stepped into the darkness, she had no idea. She had already crossed the point of no return. But everything was about to change. The first call came early. 9:08 p.m. Adrian. Sofia saw it. She didn't pick up. "I'll call him back," she said softly. That was the beginning. Minutes later, another call. Then another. Her phone kept lighting up, buzzing, demanding attention. But she ignored it. Instead, she leaned forward, listening, smiling, to the man sitting across from her. But she didn't know. Across the city, Adrian was already watching. Not her, but the silence. Pattern. He called again. No answer. Again. No answer. That silence meant something. By the 6th call, he stopped sitting. By the 9th, he was already dressed. By the 12th, he stopped calling completely. That's when it became serious. Because Adrian Cruz didn't repeat actions. He confirmed truths. But wait, it gets worse. Sofia finally looked at her phone. 12 missed calls. Her heart skipped. Just for a second. Fear. Then she pushed it away. "I'll explain later," she said. Again. That word. Later. Time moved fast after that. Too fast. Too careless. Soon. It was midnight. She stood outside the house. The silence hit her immediately. No lights. No movement. No life. Something felt wrong. But she ignored that too. That was her pattern. Ignore. Delay. Hope. But this time, hope wasn't enough. Because inside that house, Adrian wasn't waiting anymore. He had already decided. And when she walked through that door, she walked straight into the truth. That was the moment everything started falling apart. The silence inside the house didn't feel normal. Felt heavy. Like something had already happened. Sofia took a slow step forward. Her heels barely made a sound. Her breathing louder now. Sofia. She froze. That voice. Low. Controlled. Too controlled. She turned slowly. Adrian stepped out from the shadows. Watching her. Not angry. Not shouting. And that was worse. Way worse. You're late, he said. No emotion. No question. Just a fact. I had something to take care of, she replied. Her voice wasn't steady. She tried to keep it normal. But it cracked. Slightly. Adrian noticed. Of course he did. He always noticed. Something, he repeated. One word. But it carried weight. Pressure. Suspicion. Sofia looked away. Just for a second. And that second, he caught it. But she didn't know. That small moment had already confirmed something in his mind. Adrian took a step closer. Low. Measured. Dangerous. Were you alone? He asked. Her heart started racing. Yes. Too fast. Too quick. Too clean. And that was the problem. Adrian stopped walking. Silence. Uncomfortable. Then his eyes moved. Past her. Toward the door. Still slightly open. Toward the outside. Toward the car. Still running. Still there. And then, silence. Sofia felt it. A shift. That moment when everything breaks. Without a sound. What's outside? Adrian asked. His voice dropped lower. Not louder. Lower. And that made it worse. Nothing, she said quickly. Again. Too quickly. Her fingers tightened slightly. Her breathing changed. Everything about her said one thing. She was hiding something. Adrian didn't react immediately. He just looked at her. Long. Like he was studying her. Like he was comparing this version of her to the one he used to know. And realizing they weren't the same anymore. But that wasn't even the worst part. Because in that moment, Sofia saw something she had never seen before. Not anger. Not disappointment. Not even pain. Something colder. Something final. Acceptance. Like he already knew the truth. And was just waiting for her to stop lying. That scared her. More than anything. Because anger could be handled. Arguments could be fixed. But this silence. This calm. There was no way back from that. Do you want to tell me something? Adrian asked. Almost gentle. But heavy. Very heavy. Sofia opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Her thoughts were running. Fast. Too fast. Looking for something to say. Something believable. Something safe. But there was nothing. Because the truth was already outside. Waiting. And Adrian knew it. He took one more step closer. Close enough now. You should think carefully, he said quietly. Because what happens next? He paused. Just slightly. Depends on what you say now. Her chest tightened. Tears almost forming. Not from guilt. Not fully. But from fear. Fear of what was coming. Fear of what she had already caused. And deep down, she knew something. Something she didn't want to admit. This wasn't just about tonight. This wasn't just about being late. This was everything. Every ignored call. Every delayed truth. Every moment she chose silence instead of honesty. They were all here now. Standing between them. Heavy. Unavoidable. And neither of them could escape it. Not anymore. But that wasn't even the worst part. The silence stretched. Too long. Too heavy. Sofia couldn't take it anymore. Adrian, please. Stop. One word. Cold. Dark. And she froze again. Here's where everything changed. Adrian didn't look at her anymore. Not directly. Instead, he turned, slowly, toward the door, toward the night, toward the truth. Sofia's heart dropped. Adrian, listen to me. But he wasn't listening. He had already moved past that. He walked forward, step by step. Controlled. Final. Each step felt louder than the last. Sofia followed quickly. Fear rising now. Real fear. This was the mistake. She should have told him. She should have explained. She should have answered that call. But now, it was too late. Adrian reached the door, paused for just a second, then pushed it open. The cold night air rushed in. Dark. Unforgiving. And there it was. Car. Engine still running. Lights still on. Like it was waiting. Like it knew. Sofia's chest tightened. Please don't. Her voice broke. But Adrian kept walking. He didn't rush. Didn't hesitate. That was the scary part. He was certain. Completely certain. He reached the car. Up. Stood there for a moment. Just looking at it. He knocked. Once. Up. Controlled. Silence. Second passed. Then two. Blick. The passenger door opened slowly. And someone stepped out. Man. Not nervous. Not scared. That alone said everything. Adrian's eyes locked on him. Dark. Unmoving. Then slowly. He turned his head. Back to Sofia. And in that moment, everything connected. Everything. No words were needed. No explanation could change it. The truth was standing right there. Breathing. Real. But wait. Got worse. Because the man didn't run. Didn't speak. He just stood there. Like he wasn't afraid. Like he didn't understand who Adrian Cruz was. Or worse. Like he didn't care. And that was dangerous. Sofia stepped forward quickly. Tears now falling freely. Adrian, please. It's not what it looks like. But even as she said it, she knew how it sounded. Weak. Pointless. Because this wasn't suspicion anymore. This was confirmation. Adrian looked at her again. Not angry. Not shouting. Just done. And that hurt more than anything. Because anger meant there was still emotion. Still something left. But this calm. This silence. It meant something had ended. Right there. Right in front of her. What happened next? No one was prepared for. Sofia's hands were shaking now. Not slightly. Fully. Uncontrollably. Adrian, please. Just listen to me. Her voice cracked. Tears running freely. But Adrian didn't move. Didn't speak. Didn't react. He just stood there. Looking at her. Then at the man. Then back at her again. Low. Measured. Like he was taking it all in. Like he was locking this moment into his memory. Forever. This was the mistake. Sofia stepped closer. Desperate now. This isn't what you think. I was going to tell you. When? His voice came out quietly. But it hit hard. She stopped. Her lips parted. But no words came. Because she didn't have an answer. Not a real one. Not one that could fix this. That call she ignored. It echoed in her mind. Over and over. If she had answered. If she had explained. If she had just told the truth earlier. Maybe this moment wouldn't exist. Maybe he wouldn't be standing there like this. Cold. Distant. I didn't want to hurt you, she whispered. Adrian let out a slow breath. Not angry. Not frustrated. Just tired. You already did. Simple. Direct. Final. That hurt more than shouting ever could. Sofia shook her head quickly. No, it's not like that. I didn't mean for this to happen. But it did. Silence. Heavy. Unavoidable. The man behind them shifted slightly. But Adrian didn't even look at him anymore. Because the real issue wasn't him. It was her. Always her. I trusted you, Adrian said. Still calm. Still quiet. And somehow, That made it worse. Because there was no emotion left in his voice. Just truth. And truth doesn't beg. Doesn't shout. Just exists. Sofia broke down. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But sorry felt small now. Too small. Too late. Adrian nodded slowly. Not accepting. Just acknowledging. Like he expected this. Like this outcome had already played out in his head. Long before tonight. And that was the moment. She realized something. This wasn't about forgiveness anymore. This wasn't about explaining. This wasn't about fixing anything. She had already lost him. Not physically, but emotionally. Completely. Adrian looked at her one last time. Long. Quiet. And in that moment, something inside him closed. Completely. No anger. No pain. No second chances. Just silence. And in that moment, everything changed forever. The house felt different. Not empty, but hollow. Like something important had been taken out of it. Sofia sat on the edge of the bed. Ill. Silent. Her eyes swollen. Her hands resting on her lap. No phone. No distractions. Just her thoughts. And they were loud. Too loud. She replayed everything. Every moment. Every decision. Every time she said, I'll handle it later. They didn't matter. That's what she believed. That small delays couldn't break something strong. That silence wouldn't hurt. That secrets could be controlled. But now, she saw the truth. They mattered. Every single one. Because they didn't stay small. They grew. Quietly. Slowly. Until they became this. This ending. This silence. This loss. But she didn't know. By the time you realize something is broken, it's already too late to fix it. A tear rolled down her cheek. Then another. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just real. Because this pain wasn't sudden. It was built. Over time. Decision after decision. Choice after choice. And now, she had to live with it. So, Adrian stood alone. Looking over the city. Lights glowing in the distance. Life moving on. Like nothing had happened. But inside him, something had shifted. Not loudly. Not violently. Just quietly. And permanently. He wasn't angry anymore. That phase had passed. He wasn't even hurt in the way people expect. It was deeper than that. He was done. And sometimes, that's worse. Because anger can fade. Pain can heal. But being done, that stays. He thought about everything too. The small changes. The late nights. The silence. He had seen it. He had known. But he chose not to act immediately. He chose to wait. To confirm. And now, he had his answer. Clear. Undeniable. Final. No shouting. No confrontation. No chaos. Just distance. And distance can be colder than anything else. Inside the house, Sofia lowered her head. Her shoulders shaking slightly. 'Cause now she understood something. Something simple. But painful. Trust doesn't break all at once. Cracks. Little by little. Until one day, it's gone. Completely. And no matter how much you regret it, no matter how much you wish to go back, you can't. Because time doesn't rewind. Moments don't return. And some people, once they're gone emotionally, they never come back the same. But the lesson stayed. Sometimes, it's not the big mistake that destroys everything. It's the small ones. The ignored calls. The delayed truth. The silence you think doesn't matter. Until one day, does. And by then, it's too late. What would you have done?